Hi, lovely people. How are you today? My name is Dreya. I'm with Platinum Black Services, and today I just wanted to go over a quick tip on naming your corporation the right way. So, just in case you are in this part of your journey in starting a business, I just want to help you kind of go through this little hump because if you do not name your corporation the right way, you can face the state rejecting your articles of incorporation and then you'll have to start that process all over again. So I want to save you some time in doing this step the right way. And I have a client right now who is starting a business now. They don't want to go back to work. I don't blame them. We've had a year home, working from home during COVID. And, the new norm is starting to set in where a lot of people just want to work for themselves. They don't want to go back to an office and work for an employee and punch a clock in. Who can blame them? I'm one of them. So let's jump right into it. So, again, a quick introduction. My name is Dreya. Hey, I'm with Platinum Black Services. I have been running this company for the past, I want to say 15, 20 years. Started off doing bookkeeping for various clients in various industries. And then I wanted to kind of help out people on a more larger scale in starting a business. That's my passion. That's what I like to do, including I've owned a couple of other businesses in the past. And again, my mission is to help you start a business quickly and find profitable income streams because that's what it's about. You want to support yourself, you want to be happy, and you want to get your time back. All right. So my goal today is to help you do three things. And that is to help you name your corporation appropriately according to the state regulations. Each state has its own rules and requirements to follow. To learn where to go online in order to see if your business name is available to use within your state. And last, how, to do a business name search within your state. Now, as we go on, I first want to stop and do a pause and go over kill some myths about starting a corporation because I'm pretty sure a lot of you have weighed the options of starting an LLC versus a corporation. And either one, to be honest, is great to do. My only thing is an LLC is basically considered a disregarded entity in the eyes of the federal government. It's not a bad thing, but there are just some tax advantages and things that you don't get to have as an LLC versus a corporation unless you started an LLC and claimed to be a corporation or to be treated and taxed as a corporation, which I don't know. To me, it sounds kind of silly. You might as well just go ahead and be a corporation. That's just my personal opinion. But again, there's no right or wrong reason, and it still works out in the end, depending on, what you do and what you choose. So the first myth killer is you don't need, you might think you need a lot of money, but you don't need a lot of money to start a corporation. Not at all. The key thing, though, to starting a corporation is you just got to be very organized, especially from the beginning. So you're going to have corporate documents like articles of incorporation, your bylaws, and shareholders agreements, things like that. You want to just be very, very organized with those. Those are so important for tax season, tax time. And, hopefully you're not audited, but in case you are, you want to have those forms on hand and in order. Your books, your bookkeeping, your financial statements. My suggestion, I strongly recommend soon as you open up a business checking account or savings account or both, also run to your store or go online on Amazon and buy QuickBooks because the first dollar that you deposit into your bank it needs to be recorded, and then going forward it needs to be maintained. You have to track every single dollar that goes in and out of your business, and you don't want to wait until the last minute to kind of scramble around and get things in order, but it's just essential to make sure that you have everything in order, and then of course collect all your statements and keep those filed away. The goal is, or the requirement is to keep things on file for 7 years, at least 7 years. And then receipts. And of course, that's where your tax deductions come in. You want to make sure that you're saving a receipt for any and every expense business related and that qualifies as a tax deduction for your business. The next myth killer is you are not required to pay dividends. I think a lot of people decide to go the LLC route is because if I go the corporation route, oh, I'll be taxed twice. And that's not true because corporations, yes, they do pay dividends, but they're not required to pay dividends. That's just an incentive, which is used to kind of keep shareholders investing, pouring capital into the company, keeping it going. And by that time, if you're looking to pay dividends, by then you should have a really good CPA or CPA firm that's helping you through that process and knowing, how to be taxed and how to, get some benefits and kind of save you on that. And then the last myth killer is, oh, you have to be this, you shouldn't start a corporation unless you're, at the level of a Fortune 500 company. Again, that's not true. Every Fortune 500 company is doing the exact same thing that you're doing when you're starting your corporation. Don't let that intimidate you because you don't have to be a big name, a big brand right off, from jump. Even the founder of Apple started in his garage. So you don't have to, be on the same level as the big boys. You just need to start. And, the only difference is that they've been a corporation a lot longer. That's it. Okay, so general naming requirements for corporations, and this is just general across the board for any state in the United States. And that is you cannot use words that may mislead the public into thinking that the company that you're forming is formed other than for the purpose or the purpose listed or stated on your articles of incorporation. And there's about 4 rules to go over that goes into more detail about that. But just in general, you cannot start a business and list on your articles of incorporation that, hey, my business is like a professional commercial cleaning services. And then the next day you want to start a restaurant and use the same name. Nope, that's not going to fly. That's not going to work. All right, so the first rule in naming your corporation, you cannot imply that your corporation is a government entity, financial institution, or any other agency regulated by law without authorization. I'm sorry. So there are restricted words in general that you cannot use, such as bank, savings. You cannot say that your corporation is a trust or insurance company, a credit union, cooperative, etc. You just have to, go and read the forms for filing out a business for your articles of incorporation, and it'll give you a list of names that are restricted. But this is pretty much the general rule. Unless you are authorized and given permission to claim that your business is or one of these things, you cannot use that and you will be denied. Your application will be denied. All right, rule number 2, you cannot imply that your business offers professional services, which requires appropriate licensing by the state. So restricted words like CPA, engineer, attorney, things like that. You cannot say that you offer professional services as a certified public accountant, engineer, attorney, so on and so forth, if you are not licensed. Point blank, period. You cannot do that. That's illegal. And third rule, and we're going to expand the third rule a little bit more, which is you must use words that are distinguishable and not the same as or deceptively similar from another business name. Okay, so basically there are just rules in place that say if someone has this name already registered, you cannot register under that same name or something similar or close to it, which will again confuse the public into thinking that you are a different company or something of that nature where it confuses the public and they don't know who is who. In the state as well. All right, so good example. You cannot use punctuation, contractions, or abbreviations. They do not distinguish one name from another. And we're going to go through 6 quick examples. As you can see, example number 1, night and day is not distinguishable from night and the symbol day. It's just not. Number 2, Hill Supermarket is not distinguishable from Hills with apostrophe S supermarket. Still very, very similar, very close. Number 3, play, kind of like an abbreviation, P.L.A.Y. Inc. is not distinguishable from just saying the word play, Inc. Number 4, barnstormers is not distinguishable, from barnstormers with barn-stormers. Same thing. The state will not approve that name for you. Number 5, do not stop ink is not distinguishable from don't stop ink. Again, we're using that contraction from do not to don't. They're not going to accept it. It looks too similar. And last, Mr. Coffee, where you're spelling Mr. Mister LLC, it's not distinguishable from Mr. if you use the abbreviation or the prefix Mr. Mr. Period coffee. Again, it's too similar. They're not going to allow that and let you form a corporation under that name. Okay, another example is the use of an article such as the, a, or an, or such as and, but, or does not distinguish the name from another, nor does changing the entity's designation. So the first one, the first example, the big company, is not distinguishable if you want to use a big company. See, you cannot interchange the with a. It's not acceptable. And then as far as the entity's designation, and we'll go into that a little bit more, where it says Barnstormers LTD, which is an abbreviation for limited, is not distinguishable from the Barnstormers company, or CO dot, which is an abbreviation for company. They will not allow you to register under that. All right, so what can be used to distinguish the name? So numbers. So numbers within a name can be used to distinguish one name from another if the number is formatted differently in each name, along with adding more letters. So following example, number 1, Roman Investments 2, which is of course the Roman numeral, II, or 2, is distinguishable from if you use Roman investments and then the number 2, and investments 2 if you spell out the word 2. So they look at that as, different enough, distinguishable enough to say, okay, we can have 2 or more companies be registered in the state, with that being the differentiator. And then number 2, a plumbing is distinguishable between AA plumbing. So you just add another letter. Again, another example with the third example is ABC is distinguishable from AABC, ABBC, ABCC, ABCD, and AABBCC. They're all distinguishable from one another, and the state will allow you to register under those names. And also, reversing words or using a variation of the spelling can also be used to distinguish one name from another. So first example, energy first. You flip those or reverse or flip those words around, it will be distinguishable from first energy. And then if you kind of do a variation of spelling again, quickie, Quickie, Mart, is distinguishable from a different way of spelling quickie. So you just remove the QU and you add QWIKEE Mart, Quickie Mart, or another way of spelling Quickie Mart, and that is acceptable. All right, we're still on rule number 3, and just to wrap that up, a foreign language. If you use a foreign language name, that will not conflict with the English translation. It usually does not. For example, la flor, meaning the flower, when translated into English, that's fine. So you have one language that says the floor as la flor, and it can be registered and acceptable within the state because it's not the exact same word or spelling as the flower. And then just bottom line, at the end of the day, unacceptable words across all states will not be accepted and allow you to register your company. So if any name contains profanity or words or phrases that are generally considered a slur against an ethnic group, religion, gender, or hereditary, it is considered unacceptable right out the gate. Rule number 4, in naming a corporation, the name must always include an expressly authorized suffix, often referred to as an entity designator or entity indicator. So for the state of North Dakota, if you're looking to form a corporation there, you can use either the long suffix or abbreviation listed below, such as corporation, incorporated, company, or limited. For short, Corp, Inc., Co., or Ltd. Now we're going to move on to the fun part and switch screens in a few seconds, and I'll show you the website to search for the business name availability, which is the North Dakota Secretary of State's website. There I'll show you how to do a business name search to see if the name is available or not. All right, now here's the fun part. I went online and I pulled up e-secretaryofstate.com. This is a great website because it provides quick links to the Secretary of State by state, forms to file your articles of incorporation, and then what we're about to do here is an entity search to see if your business name is available. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll down to find North Dakota. Here we go, North Dakota, and we're going to click on entity search. All right, under business search, we're going to use the words Bob and this is a great example because as I did a business name search for every state, it seems like every state has a business with the name Bob in it. Okay, so let's go ahead and search. And in this blue section, you'll see business names and then the business types, like if it's a corporation, a limited liability company, or a trade name, so on and so forth. Just make sure you go through that list because here's where you want to verify and to see if the business name of your choice has already been taken and registered, or if there's something similar to it that could possibly cause a rejection by the Secretary of State to not register your business name. All right. And also, the other two important columns to look at are status and standing, because of course you also want to know if that business that might have the similar name to yours is active or in good standing, or is inactive and is not in good standing because of, again, if it's active in good standing and if it's a name that you wanted to use or very, very similar to it, there's a high probability that your name is not available. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the previous tab. Now let's say that your name is available. So what do? Now you have two options. You can either, one, reserve the name, and basically that puts a temporary hold on the name and it gives you rights and privileges to that name for a short amount of time, somewhere between 90 to 120 days, give or take, depending on the state. And the rules are listed in the application when you're filling it out to reserve the name. And again, it places a hold on the name for you to as you're going through the process of preparing to file your articles of incorporation. So therefore, no one else can use that name. Or you can bypass that step and then actually file the articles of incorporation and be registered within the state. And I'll show you that process and the forms you'll need to do that. So let's go back here to North Carolina and click on the link that says forms. All right. Now let's go back to option one where you want to reserve the name, and we're going to scroll down to the bottom. And under the heading where it says reserve names, trade names, and fictitious names, you want to select reserved name application. You just click on that box. And if you can see, it says file online. So right here, it'll prompt you to create a user account, fill out the application, you'll submit a fee, and then the Secretary of State of North Dakota will go ahead and place that name on hold for you for whatever specific time, that their rules permit. Okay. Now, again, if you want to bypass that and actually file the articles of incorporation, let's scroll back up to where the heading says corporations, and you have two options here. You can either file the business corporation articles of incorporation application or the foreign business corporation certificate of authority application. And there is a difference, and I'll explain. So the first option is more for domestic corporations. The second option is for foreign corporations. Let me break that down. So a domestic corporation is a corporation that is established within the state of North Dakota with like a primary location and address within North Dakota. Therefore, you are considered a domestic corporation. Now, for the other category, foreign corporation, that basically means that maybe you've already established the corporation outside of North Dakota, such as maybe Ohio, Georgia, California. But now you're looking to have a location, a business address within North Dakota so that you can transact business legally. So therefore, you're considered a foreign corporation and you will fill out that application. All right. So either one, if you're a domestic corporation, you're going to click this link here for business corporation, articles of incorporation. Again, file online. It'll prompt you to create a user account, fill out the application, submit a fee. They'll register you with the state and your business will be ready to go. Or if you or under the category of a foreign corporation, you'll fill out this application or click this link for Foreign Business Corporation Certificate of Authority application. Again, set up your online account, fill out the application, submit your fee to be processed. The Secretary of State will register you, and then you'll be allowed to transact business as a foreign corporation within the state of North Carolina. All right, and you'll be good to go. All right, guys, I want to thank you for your time. I'm glad that I was able to help you. So by the end of this video, you should now know the requirements of naming your corporation by state. You should also know where to find the website, the Secretary of website for your state in order to do a business name search, and also how to do the name search. And the next step would be to also either reserve the name or to go ahead and file the articles of incorporation. In closing, I just want to suggest, checking out my website. If you go to platinumblackservices.com, I greatly appreciate it. I have some more tools and tips to provide for you. If you scroll down, I have some free stuff. Check out the free stuff. Items such as 7 things you need to maintain your corporate veil protection is a free webinar. Another free webinar, 9 legal corporate documents every corporation must have on hand. Also, a quick and dirty guide to corporation filing requirements is a free ebook. And last, a fill in the blank business plan guide. If you don't have a business plan already, it's good to go ahead and grab that as you're forming your corporation with the state, filing the forms and getting established. All of this is free. Now, next, I also want to let you know that I have 2 kits that are all inclusive, and it will help you meet specific goals in your journey as you're establishing your corporation within the state that you choose. And the first one is the quick business kickoff, the Incorporator starter kit. And it's just a couple of files for $10. You get some really good checklists and files and forms to fill out that will help you cross all your T's and dot all your I's in the beginning stages of forming your corporation. If you need more information, more in-depth starter kit that also provides your articles of incorporation, your corporate bylaws, shareholders agreements, shareholder certificate, dissolution forms. I have a really great comprehensive package. It's professional. The forms are in Word and PDF, so you can immediately download them, customize them, add your logo, and use them as needed and fill in the information that is customized to your situation. Down here, it's the corporate formation starter kit for the state of, and you just select whatever state that you're in. Right now, I have a special offer. It's if you use the code START NOW, you'll get $60 off. Currently, a kit is $99. You receive over 150 forms. Again, they're all downloadable and easy and quick to use. But right now, with $60 off, I'm giving you a discount of $39. And you can get started right away. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you've learned what you needed to learn or what needed to know in order to do a business name search for your corporation, and also how to reserve the name or to go ahead and file the articles of incorporation, depending on if you are a domestic corporation or foreign corporation. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.